Hi there, my name is Vanessa and today I'll be talking about the role that digital media is playing on a student's learning and its engagement activities in and outside the classroom. As this is a broad topic, I'll narrow it down to mature online learning so I can provide some examples drawn from my own experience, as currently I am an online student myself. For the second part of this talk, I will address two advantages and one major disadvantage on digital media in learning that hopefully will give us a bit more of understanding of this topic. There is no surprise to say that we are experiencing a time where education technology is booming and fast growing. A good example of that is how much the online learning platform has grown, with so many people choosing to study online because they don't have the time to go and sit in a classroom every day, or they can just simply cannot afford to stop working and study full time, which is my own case. I decided to study online because I could not afford to stop working. Moving on, there are people that strongly believe that digital media is a major contributor to the improvement of education and training. And this is not something new. A journal from Robert Cosma, 1994, that suggested there is a strong relationship between learning and digital media. The reason I'm mentioning this is because Cosma supported his argument with a data that explained that this was due to learning comes from the learner's cognitive, and digital media comes from the external environments that we are surrounded every day. On the other hand, Friedland 2016 strongly argues that today's technology is not helping our brains, and instead it's making our memories fragile, as it's forcing people to store valuable knowledge virtually in the clouds. Before, we used to memorize telephone numbers. Now we save them in our phones and back them up in the clouds. And not only that, our passwords, our notes, our photos, our videos, our researches, we are constantly relying on technology, on digital technology. And this is so true. This reminds me that every day at work, when we can't remember things or we want a piece of information straight away, we take to each other all the time. Just Google it. Just Google it. Information is right there. We don't need to rely on our memories. If you need that information tomorrow, again, we just Google it. A bit scary. One of the advantages that I want to highlight is the personalized learning. Digital media has allowed to change the way how teaching is provided without replacing the teacher. In many cases, enables teachers to personalize learning according to the environment. For instance, using a blog to discuss weekly topics outside the classroom has proven to increase the engagement and build informal learning communities among mature online students. However, some will argue that the use of technology in a virtual classroom can only be effective if the teacher has some sort of level of expertise. The second advantage I believe is important to address is the innovative changing market. As mentioned earlier, we are experiencing a fast-changing education market where we can now share large amount of files and database among people in classrooms or offices all around the world that eliminates geographical barriers instantly. I have experienced how the web system that Cloud Deacon uses to deliver the online lectures has evolved. From a session where we could only hear the tutor and post our questions in a small text box that was dropping in and out depending on how many participants were logged in at the same time, to a session where we can see the tutor, we can see we got more people logged in, and we can all see the same presentation at the same time that has been delivered. It does make a lot of difference. It's definitely engaging and creates a sense of online community to see others at the other side. However, having said that, when talking about the major disadvantages of digital media and online platform, the first thing that comes to my mind is the isolated learning experience that comes with it. The physical classroom interaction is a huge advantage when studying, as you can share your thoughts on the spot, and if you have a question, you might get the answer straight away. Whereas with online studies, you don't have that spontaneous interaction. If you have a question, it's most likely that you will send an email to your tutor or to your peers, and then you will have to wait for the answer to arrive. Today, we looked at some of the pros and cons of digital media in online learning environment. And when taking everything into account, I believe it tells us that digital media has definitely changed the way how we learn and how we interact to one another. And it will continue evolving, and we have to keep up with it and keep learning. As part of my conclusion, I also want to add that another key thing to remember is that whether it is an online studies or the traditional face-to-face classroom, studying is a hard work that requires a lot of time management, sacrifice, and perseverance in order to finish. If you have any questions, please send me an email, or you can follow me on Twitter. All my details will appear here below somehow. And yeah, cheers for me, because this is my last trimester in university. Thanks for watching.